Secretary of State. All right, let's go in. Let's open it up. Two rejection letters. 2 years. Please, dear Lord. Certificate of Formation, the JustUS Love Corporation. It is our pleasure to file the Certificate of Formation and issue the enclosed Certificate of Filing.
So what does this mean?
I don't know, you work so hard for something. I mean, you know, I don't know if people know this or not, but I did all of this on my own. Like, they pay thousands of dollars just to open up a corporation. So you have to have provisions. There's a whole process that you go through. And so while the rejection letters, one was the shares, I didn't understand what shares were. Didn't understand, you know, me controlling the corporation, but it making money and allowing investors to come in. And, you know, I had to go to the library. Like, I had to study books. You know, I didn't know. I spoke with an attorney who volunteered her time, a CPA who volunteered his time, and they just kind of mentored me and believed that I could file this all on my own. So I wrote up the provisions. And at first, the Secretary of the State didn't understand, you know, what I was trying to do for survivors of sexual abuse. So they rejected the corporation, and everybody tried to get me to do a nonprofit. And I said, I'm not doing a nonprofit. I want a profiting business, a profiting brand for survivors of sexual abuse. And I don't know, I've been fighting for 2 years, like, and people tell me I couldn't do something. It was almost like, you know, you just wanted to do something that you believed you were supposed to do to prove them wrong. And in my heart, while it was really for myself and for other survivors, you know, I wanted to do something just to prove to myself that I could do it. And so I don't know where we go from here now that it's been given to me. But I'll figure it out. You know, back when breast cancer came out, people were ashamed, you know, because women were losing their breast and they just felt violated as being a woman. And so here she was, fought for something that she believed in. And now survivors stand up all over. I mean, they got a color and a month and a ribbon, and, you know, they're best friends. I have people in the salon, they'll paint their hair pink or shave their head to support their sister going through breast cancer. And it was just this huge movement that took time over the past really 15 years to recognize something that was affecting people. And so she fought for something that she believed in. And that's what I want for survivors of sexual abuse. You know, I want us to, I hope, here's my goal, Josh, like in 10 years, no, in 5 years. In 5 years, we control $1 billion of the world's money. And I couldn't even achieve that goal without this, piece of paper. I couldn't even make that step. And everybody thinks it's about my life, but I have a wonderful, beautiful life. I work hard as a hairstylist, and I get to sell books, being an author, and help people. So it wasn't about my income or my life changing. It was about, if you control $1 billion, not in your bank account, but let's just say that we have $100 million investors, or we have a movement of millions of people that support. They buy books, or they buy merchandise, or they buy bumper stickers or a t-shirt. And if you have 1 million people that all spend $1,000 with you, then you can generate that type of money, and it go back into society, and it go back into the Justice Love Corporation. And what we do is we essentially rebuild the lives of people. But what you have is this network, this community of survivors, and they literally are standing together, supporting one another. But we're telling survivor stories. I believe in nonprofits, but I think at the end of the day, the reason that the statistic of sexual abuse hasn't changed is because nonprofits recognize the victim. And I believe that the government, local, city, state, however which way you want to look at it, they recognize registered sex offenders, the molester, the pedophile. We've got prisons full of them. 90% of incarcerated men and women have been sexually abused. And so for once, now, thank you, Jesus, now we have a fully profiting S corporation for survivors. And so we're going to tell survivor stories. We're going to build wellness and spiritual and positive reinforcement information, and we're going to do it off of survivors. We're going to give them a voice, and rather than recognizing the victim and sharing that all through social media and people getting, eaten up with feeling sorry for someone, we're really going to turn this thing around and change it into survivors telling their story, so that you feel inspired by it. Like you think, wow, holy crap, she went through that, or he went through that, and now they've built their life into, they're a minister, they're a school teacher, or they're a stay-at-home mom, or they founded a nonprofit themselves. Whatever they've done with their life, I'm going to tell you something. Of all the thousands of people who have shared their story with me of sexual abuse, I've met a lot of victims who are still wrapped up in the past and in a bad relationship that's destructive, or can't pull from drugs and alcohol. But I got to tell you, I have been inspired by hundreds and hundreds who have, that no longer defines them. They've really overcome it. And the greatest thing is they give all the glory to God, because they couldn't have done it without, this supernatural force, something greater than them, higher than them, believing in them, and knowing that if they used their story and gave him the credit for the transformation, that it would help other people. So, what a blessing. What is today? This was October 2nd, 2015. Shows you how often I check the mail, Josh, because what's today? The 10th, I think. So, this will go down in history. I think people think I'm crazy, Josh, but I'm going to tell you something. This right here is genius. This is what we need. This is what we need for children and families and people. We need to take this thing and turn it around and give glory to God. If it wasn't for what, I had been through, I wouldn't be sitting here trying to give and help other people and raise some money so we can make a difference in the world and cause change.